So at home, I think learning has made me quite technologically savvy. So I've learnt my way around computers in Google Classroom, and it's really helped me with my organisation skills. So when I'm making my own notes, my attendance to lessons, and making sure I've covered all the content of a lesson. And I think the teachers not physically being there has given me that responsibility of sticking on task in the lessons. However, saying all that, I think it was great having that direct line of communication with our teachers, through email, through Google Classroom, through Meets. That if we had any queries, that was great.
Well, I learnt a lot from it. Like academically, the teachers were like really good because we still had online lessons like face to face through Google Meet, and yeah, so I still learnt like a lot of academic stuff. But then I also like did a bit of like on my own.
I learnt that I should not take school for granted and that I should really value what I do and like time management.
It was very different, but I feel as though the teachers made it work really well. There were live lessons whenever they could make it possible, and I don't think we missed as much as we could have done because of the way it was all sort of working. It was very organised. Yeah, things like operating all the software and stuff. Got a bit more used to working on the computers.
So most of all, I wasn't particularly great on the computer. I've got to admit, I just kind of had a panic attack when I realised that there was like loads of stuff I needed to do that I didn't know how to do, Zoom calls, whatever. But I think that's kind of what I've taken away most. I've learnt how to use a computer a lot more.
I've learned how to improvise because usually it's a whole lot easier in school when you're face to face with the teacher. So things like problems with your laptop are quite unexpected. So I think just taking different ways of bringing your learning to the same standard as you're used to was probably the best bit of sort of gathering that from home learning.
I think it's made me so much more eager for the learning, because when I was at home I was kind of like, oh, I just wish I was back in school by now. I've been away from I haven't seen my friends in ages. I haven't been able to actually speak to a teacher face to face. It's just a kind of a whole different type of thing.
Oh, you had to get used to not being prompted to do everything. You had to get used to being a bit more independent, and also managing your time, not being told specifically what you're supposed to be doing, and kind of being a bit more independent. Yeah, I enjoyed lockdown, I would say. Yeah, it is nice to be back, definitely.
Well, since my parents were key workers, I actually went to school, and we had 2 teachers a day supervising us. The school did manage to do it well, so they made the right adjustments and they made it as close to a proper learning environment as possible.
Learning at home, it's quite different than learning at school because you haven't got the teachers right in front of you, and you haven't got the students as well with you, so you can't really talk to them as much. And so I had to kind of adapt and make sure that I was on screen at the right time, and that I was make sure that I gave my homework at the right time. So it was a little tricky, and but I think in the end I did adapt and I became a lot better at it, and I think that I'm a lot better at computers now anyway, so yeah.
I think the main thing was independence, because if you didn't do the work, the teachers were on your back about it, but not as much as they would be if you're at school. So I think it's independent learning was the biggest thing that I took from lockdown.
So my technical skills have become way better, and my independent learning has improved a lot.
The importance of organisation, definitely, because it was quite stressful getting all the books home and then not knowing where to put them, because obviously the workspace we needed from home was very important. We had to separate home life from work life, and I think I've improved in that sense. Definitely time management as well.